Hello everyone, this is Planckera, and welcome to my universe. So, we're back to here, and I was just looking around at a few things. I think the hand is mostly fine. I think this finger specifically might be a little bit too long. I know that all of them are a little long, but I think this is the only one that really feels like a problem. And I think a lot of that is just because a lot of them have their bend a little bit more centralized, but this one is like way the heck down here. So, I don't know, I'm gonna poke some stuff there, and then the other thing that I would like to fix in the hand is the kind of hidden finger back here. So I'm gonna kind of poke around with that and figure that out. I think that the bend here might also be a little bit low, so I might just adjust all of them. I think it's actually perfect on this one. It's not exactly realistic for fingers to be bending in the middle, but I do think that's where they tend to look the best if I'm only going to draw two joints. And then I think I like that length, but I think I still want the joint to be just a little bit higher, so I will do that and then fill in the gap. Okay. Kind of the same here, where I think the length is fine. It did not make the selection, that's fine. I think the length of the finger is fine, but I will move the joint up just a little, and I did not mean to grab the whole finger. Okay, there we go. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Okay. So I currently can't really see the shadowy side of the finger, so I just gotta have to hope that everything is fine right now. I think it is. But I do kind of want to fix that, in that I think it's actually important to realize that there's another finger back there, and with it just fading into black into the hair, I get the feeling I probably drew that with the hair off like this. So I didn't realize just a little bit silly that it looked. So I do want to go and fix that. But first, I will fix the rest of the fingers here. I think that this looks a little bit better. So now it's just a matter of kind of smoothing things out again. And I do want to keep things very, very angular. That is just a part of what I'm going for the style here. There's a couple of different patterns that I want to try with my more minimalist style. Just a couple of different things. And one of them is this highly dramatic, highly angular thing that I'm trying right now. Just to kind of see what I can do. And I already really like it. I think it looks really cool. So I'm happy with this. And then the other is something more patterny and patchy. Something more kind of inspired by pen and ink stuff. I think there's a lot of potential there. And I think that those two spectrums will cover a lot of what I would like to do with the style, so I will be doing many experiments with them, I think. I'm glad I decided to take on this project for this particular one, because I think it'll be fun to draw all of Faye's Saga and their various personalities in just this kind of overdramatic way. I have ideas that I really like for all of them, so that will be fun. I think this next month is going to be fun in general, because I've got a bunch of things I want to draw. So it'll be great. Okay, let's see here. I'm just double checking everything here. I think I want this to slope. And this to do something a little bit more like this. For maximum dramatic finger. Okay. And then here, just a matter of fixing up all the spots that I moved around. Which is, of course, no problem at all. But I'm going to do something slightly different with the edge of this hidden finger. I am actually going to make its line white. I'm going to keep all of it black, except for the very edge. That will be the only place in the entire finger that is white. And that should contrast it nicely with the black of the hair, since most of that hair that's behind it is in shadow. So I think it will look fantastic. First, I want to smooth out this middle finger here, because that'll give me a better idea of how everything else about this finger should look. And then once I have the edge defined there, I can just color it white, easy peasy. And it will be no trouble at all. No trouble at all. Okay, I'm just going to make a few things through here a little bit straighter and more angular while I'm here. But I do think that this is looking pretty good. So I think I am about done here. So let's get this finger. And I'll put in the white line, and I think that's going to be most of the corrections. Since most of last time was just kind of wrangling the last bit of composition and then figuring out how to draw this hand. I do like this hand. I think it turned out really well. Okay. So now I can do my plan and make the line white. So that this way it'll contrast nicely with the hair that's behind it. And I'll still make it clear where it's coming out. It is behind this finger. And this finger just has an ultra thick black line that I really like. So I do want to make sure that that line still kind of contrasts properly, and then somewhere in there, this finger comes out. So I'll do it kind of like this. I'll even put a little line down there that kind of tapers out into nothing. So I'll try to make this line about as thick as the other ones here, which, you know, they are quite thick. Just extremely. And I will adjust that edge until I am happy. And then I can go and focus on the hair again. I definitely had a bit of trouble with the hair last time. I just had a massive brain fart. I have been feeling super absent-minded lately, so I'm not surprised. I think it happens sometimes. It's like, I think there's a reason that pretty much any creative person is prone to a bit of the melancholy. And when you get hit by it, it makes it hard to do stuff. But a lot of the stuff that we're doing, it has like no objective criteria, and sometimes it can be hard to feel the results, especially if things just aren't going quite right. And I just ask myself, you know, what am I doing wrong? And I'm not necessarily doing anything wrong, and there are shenanigans, basically, especially when things aren't going quite the way that I want them to. But there we go. I think that's doing what I want it to do. And I do think that looks better than what I had before. Okay. So now I want to make some corrections on her hair. I noticed that this side of her head was like coming out. Like if you think about the curve of a head, I guess black should. No, I'm gonna use hot pink. Let's break out the hot pink, and I'll try to explain what my problem here was. So when you think about the curvature of a head, you know, it kind of does stuff like this. And I think I have the eyes on that curve decently well, just because the top of this one's covered by the hand. I might need to fix it, and this curve isn't drawn right anyway, but, you know, it's kind of like that. Well, I had it okay here, but when I looked at the way the corners were going over here, I noticed, you know, this side was getting a little bit high up. So even if I drew a perfectly straight line, it's like the top of her head is no longer parallel with her eyes, and that's just no good. So I just need to fix that real quick. Fortunately, I'd only started smoothing that, so nothing of value is lost here. Let's get her head shaped correctly. I just want to pull this side down, and, you know, maybe I'll even pull this side up a little. I do kind of like the way the drills turned out. So I think all that will look pretty good once I smooth it out. But this was making one side of her head look quite bulgy, and that's just not something that I want. Not at all. I think I'll even just push the whole thing down just a little. Make her forehead a little bit less big with the tilt. And then with her way the head is tilted, I'm going to hide the crown for a moment. I think I want the center of her head to be a little bit further up. Then I'll adjust the rest of the hair accordingly, and I can fix the shape of the head and whatnot afterward. I feel like whenever I'm drawing an anime, that I use the hair to kind of define the shape of the edge. Maybe that's not a great thing to do, but it's the truth. But no, I actually think it's fine. Just because, I mean, I do draw the head anytime that I have actual trouble, and if I were to hide the hair, you often see the shape of the skull a little bit in all that, but like the hair is ultimately sitting on top of it, so it's probably fine. And I'll straighten all this after. Liquify just makes everything a little bit, I don't know, liquidy. Okay. So I am just going to poke at everything here until I am happy. See, her eyes are kind of aligned like this. I think this one's actually a little bit higher than this one, technically. With the way the head is angled, but let's see. How are you angled? Gonna swing my head around while I kind of figure that out. You know, that's kind of the nice thing about having a model on screen here. I can kind of move things around until I get something resembling vaguely what I want here. You know, this is all the more reason for me to make a version 2 of myself at some point. Get better head angles. Hello there, Protox. Welcome back. Make better head angles for myself for better reference. Heck yeah. I think I'm gonna push this little strand back over just a little. I don't think it goes that far out. Oh, it does go pretty far out, doesn't it? Okay. I don't have to push it that far. Okay, and I don't mind things kind of getting lost in the shadows here. I think it's stylish, so it's all good. But I'm just gonna keep carving at this until I'm happy. Perspective, man. Okay, so I think that's probably pretty close. I'm gonna mirror it, but just a quick before and after. It's like, yeah, that hair is sitting on her much better. The only part that I'm sad that I lost is here. So that's a sign I should poke there just a little bit more. Bring that out just a little. Yeah. That should be pretty good. And I'm still not worried about the back hair yet, and all this will come. We'll just give it time. But I do want to make sure that I have the front hair doing what I want it to be doing before I attempt to do anything else. Because unfortunately, I am limited to doing one thing at a time, and I hate it. Okay. I think I'm still gonna bring the corner out just a little. Bring the hair down just a little. There we go. I'm not sure if the drills make sense, but I think they look okay, so, you know, I think it's good. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the back hair. I probably messed with the crown a whole bunch there, but that's fine. So I will get the head outline and the back hair and its shadows. And I'll just pull all this in. I don't think anything should be visible over there. There should only be a little bit visible through here. Wait, we are seeing the side of the head here, so I do want to show a little bit of stuff, but not a lot. Oh, I have a random black line over there, huh? I better identify where that's from. Okay, so some of it is from the head. Let's clear that, and I'll clear some of the stuff from the back here, showing up back there. There we go. And then I assume that this part here is just a little bit of head outline stuff still. So I'll go ahead and tuck that in. Until it is doing what I want it to be doing. It must cooperate. I demand it. Okay, I think I want the top part of it to be a little bit lower still, so I'm gonna lower it down. And then I want to try to get that curve that kind of represents the back of her head here to look a little bit nicer. So as always, I'll just keep carving at that until I am satisfied. That's just what I do. I like to get some stuff down. And then once I kind of have it started, I have the basics in, I can just prod at it a little bit until it does what I want it to do. I find it easier to kind of think of it like sculpting. Except, you know, mistakes are not very permanent. So I can just kind of make the slight adjustments until it suddenly looks correct to me, and that looks pretty good, I think. Let's take a look. Yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. I'm just going to do a quick before and after comparison to make myself feel good, because it always helps me. You know, assuming Krita decides it wants to cooperate. So there, I kind of had everything bulgy. The side was definitely too long. And then I just pushed everything down, and now I think it's doing much better. And I do like the changes to the hand, so I'm very happy about all that. Okay. Let's see, one more change I think I want to make to the hand, and that this finger looks really thin compared to this finger. So I think I'm gonna thicken it up just a little bit there. Which means I must remove her head once more. I think the upper part is fine. I just want to adjust this lower part. So we'll just make it a little bit thicker right there. And the pinky, I think, is fine. Pinkies are supposed to be tiny, so this works perfectly. Okay. Seems all right. I just got to bring the line back down all the way to the tip. And I can fill it all in and make the outer line a consistent width again. There we go. Okay, and then I'm just straightening out a couple of lines there, but that's good. Yeah, that definitely looks better. Now this doesn't look quite so thin compared to this finger. And I'm totally okay with the pinky looking small. Pinkies are supposed to be small. Okay. So let's see, how's the face looking? I think hair is good, and I think I can go back to it. I'm gonna hide a few layers here just so I can see a little bit better. I guess it's more than a few. It's actually quite a lot. Let's see here. I don't think any of this should be here anymore. The hair should definitely define that side of the face, not any particular line or anything. Alright, let's hide the eyes. The rest of the face can stay. Okay. So I already know that the first thing I gotta do here, I really gotta figure out how to draw the braid. And I definitely had a large brain fart last time, and that I just completely forgot how to do it. These things happen, don't worry about it. And yeah, so I'm just going to kind of get it started. I don't really want to start trying to render all of this until I have it in there. Kind of refreshing myself on what it looks like. Yeah, it just sits underneath this hair just fine, but on top of this, or rather, I guess I should say this bit of hair sits underneath. So that's that guy. And so I can just... let's define this a little bit better. I think I like the line there. You know, this wasn't intentional, but I do think I actually like the line here being a little bit extra thick. I think it makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. I think it's kind of cool. So I'm gonna keep it. It almost makes it look like we're kind of seeing the side of the hair there, and that does make sense. I like it. So I'm going to kind of refine the angles here just a little bit. Not gonna do proper cleaning or anything. No, I need to get the braid in before I do that. But I kind of want to figure out about how thick I want this line to be, and that feels pretty correct to me. Maybe it's a little too thick. I'm looking at what I did for the fingers here. Yeah, I think that might be a little bit too thick. I like the thickness there. But maybe for here, where we're not seeing the side of something. Something a little bit more like this is a little bit more correct. This one I don't mind being a little thicker too, because it's a legitimate shadow. But up here, I think should be not quite as thick. I'm having to fight my every instinct again to not make everything round, but that's okay. How does it look on her head? Oh, it's covered by the crown, so it's a little hard to tell. Okay, well, that means I get to make something up. So what I think I wanted to do is I think I'm actually going to let the hair from here kind of come down a little and up like this. This will be covered by the crown by the end, but it will let me understand what's happening here a little bit more easily, I think. Okay, then I need to adjust the angle of this a little, so that way it lines up a little bit better. Okay, there we go. That's, I think, a good representation of the front hair here. So now I can start kind of getting that braid in. I don't think I want it to be that thick. I want to line it up a little bit better. It's straight line drawing time, so give me a moment. There, I think something like that. And then I just do my parallelograms. This side might need to be a little bit higher. Do I really have that going high enough? Where are her eyebrows? I do not have that high enough. Okay. Hold on. Oh, I was gonna say I feel sneeze coming down, but there it is. Managed to mute just in time. Okay. No, not okay, just liquefy. So I need to bring this side a little bit higher up. So this hair being tucked in, it should touch her eyebrows. But this hair should not. And I think while the eyebrow is unrefined, it is in a good location. So I can use it as kind of a reference for where this front hair should be. Okay, and then this part should come down. And I'll straighten it out once I kind of refine the edges there. Okay, so that seems a little bit better now. And here it's like one perfect little curve, but like I said, I'm trying to make everything straighter. So I think that this is okay. This should represent that curve just fine. Okay, so we have the outside of the braid here, and this is the middle. So I think I can do something kind of like this now, where I just draw my lines all the way across. And then afterwards, I just fluff it out a bit, basically. Or in this case, make it pointy. Oh yeah, I need to hide her eyes. I don't want that to be getting in the way while I'm worried about the edge of the hair here. But see, braids aren't that bad at all. I was just having trouble. These things happen. Okay. And now I can make it look nice. Like I said, I kind of want it to be a little pointier. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it a little pointier. So I'm thinking about exactly how I want to handle each strand here. In this one, I think its starting point is somewhere like back here. So I want its pointy spot to be like right there. And then I'll just fill the rest in with black. There we go. That's good. Okay. I think for the sake of my sanity, I'm just going to go ahead and run down here and just, you know, keep things simple. Switch back and forth, and I will fill in the other side after. This one's going to be a little weird because it's where the line is changing, so I kind of want to give it a little bit of a rotational quality. Okay. No problem at all. This is another one that needs a slight bit of a rotation to it, but you know what? I don't think it has to be that strong. I think it can just be like this. I think that's fine. Okay, there we go. Now we'll do the other side. This side's a little trickier, but not much. Not much. And then once I finish kind of defining the outsides, I'll go in and get that inner part where they kind of meet up and make that nice and pointy too. But I'm still just kind of sketching it all out. I'm not gonna do any smoothing just yet. I want to make sure that all the hair, at least the front hair, the part that I am currently doing, all looks very nice before I start smoothing it. But yeah, there we go. It looks braid-like. That's all I had to do. Sometimes the brain just doesn't brain, and these things happen. It's all good. Didn't really need to refresh myself on how to draw at all. Okay, so now I can kind of start filling in some of these spots. And making everything look just the way I want. Well, no, I guess I'm not there yet, but I can at least get the shapes looking cool. Yeah. That's the part I can do. And then I'll have to decide if I want to do any kind of like hair texture or anything. I kind of don't think I will. There might be a little bit here and there, but basically there's going to be some science. There's going to be so much science. I am going to be trying so many things. Because I haven't attempted anything quite like this before. So I'm kind of in new territory, and oh boy do I love it. The sights in this new territory are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. This is why it's important to try new things. Not get stuck in old habits. Because sometimes the things you see are pretty great. Okay, I'm just kind of going back and putting some more dark shadows where I think it's appropriate. Right now, I think I'm making things a little bit too round in these shadowed spots, but I do think that they will help me feel out where some other things are going to go. And that's fine. Right now, that's all I'm really trying to do. Just feel things out. The perfection will come a little bit later. But I am determined to make a perfectly malicious face today, hence the stream title. I would like to finish the entire face. That is my goal for today. Still letting myself take things a little bit slow, since I am trying some stuff. But I would like to have the face done. I already have a lot of it done. I still really like the teeth. The smile is perfect. I am very pleased. So I think we're probably a good 80% of the work remaining in the face is just hair. So once I get the hair done, you know, it's smooth sailing. I just gotta get there first. Okay, but yeah, I think this is looking good now. So I got a couple more braids I'm gonna have to draw. Unfortunately, she has a lot of them. They do look nice though, so I guess I can't really say unfortunately. Okay. I'm almost to the edge of this first one here. Almost there. I think these are interlocking wonderfully. Okay, and then that edge there will come later, but yep, there we go. I think that's all I really needed to do. So I think that braid looks good. Maybe a little bit small on the end. Yeah, a little bit. Let's go ahead and make it just a little bit bigger, like right through here. See, this is exactly why I didn't want to smooth everything yet. I want to make sure that everything is like proportionate. But yeah, I just felt like it was a little bit small in the end. And this looks much better to me. This looks very much like this. What are those little dots in there? I guess, yeah, they look like little gems hanging off of the crown here. Okay. I'll have to make sure to draw those, but I want the crown drawn first. And in fact, I think I'll do the crown before I do the rest of her hair, but I need to get the structure of the hair down in order to understand the crown, I think. So I'm gonna keep structuring the hair the way I want it. And then from there, I can kind of get those last things. And we'll make the crown look nice. I don't think I'm going to draw those little beads until the hair is done, actually, because they're small. They're not really going to affect the structure of everything here, so I will just take care of them at the end. But I will get them before I do the eyes. Okay. How's it doing? I kind of don't like that change I just made here. Let's try again. I know what I was trying to do, I just didn't quite get it right. So let's try again. I want to get the antenna here, where the hair just kind of sticks out. But it feels maybe a little bit off center. I need to turn her eyes back on. The eyes... I'm like, the eyes aren't quite in the right spot either. Not quite. Let me see. How much of your hair covers things? Alright, my higher quality one is over here. Kinda rubs up against the top eyelash. So yeah, I can put it a little bit lower. Just a little. Okay. And from there, I think I need to raise this one just a little bit. Fortunately, I don't actually need, like, the color of her skin or anything back there to see what's happening here. It just works. So I might need to pull the hair down just a little bit here. It's okay, once again, this is why I am not fully rendering it just yet. So this way I can freely make changes until I'm happy. And I looked through and I'm just like, eyes, they don't feel quite right. Not quite. I will need to drop the hair down here and here to mesh with these changes here. There we go. I think that should do it once I kind of straighten all this out a little bit. Okay. Let's get the antennas. So I should be able to center this a little bit better now that the eyes are back on. It's like I poked at it a little at the beginning, but I don't think I got it quite right. So let's try again. Just gotta keep trying until I feel like everything is in the right spot. That's all you can really do, right? Just keep trying. Okay. Trying to straighten out the hair there. Push the center of it over. So this way it lines up kind of in between the eyes. And go from there. I'm not sure why I have this line on the side so thick. I don't think that's really necessary. I'm not quite sure how that happened. Okay, but piece by piece, I think I'm getting this into a better spot here. It's covering, like, the side of her cheek a little bit, so I shouldn't necessarily treat it like it's going off the side of her face here. Okay, there we go. I think I want this a little bit lower down. Maybe more hidden by the finger here. Yeah. The structure still doesn't feel quite right. Not quite, and I do think it is important that I get the structure feeling right before I do anything else. Antenna hair, man. Okay. Hello there, Tamak. Welcome back. Let's see. I feel like this is a bit too dramatic, so I'm gonna flatten it out just a little. Ah, and hello there, Blood Bullet. Welcome back. I don't know, do I need the side of her head to help me out here? I don't think so. I can picture it in my head here. It's going out like this. Let's see. Let's see. gonna take another look over here. Like, I think I want this to be a little bit more dramatic than than it is on the actual model. And just because everything I'm doing in this picture is supposed to be, like, over-dramatic. But maybe I still have it a little bit too strong. Let's just take it down just a little. Okay, yeah, that actually helped. Part of it is just also making it look like her. And that might have been one of the things bothering me there. The other part is maybe I have trouble thinking in straight angles. On areas that I think are supposed to be a little bit more curved. Okay. I don't know, I still feel like the distance here to here is a bit much. So I'm just gonna keep sculpting my way to victory here. I just gotta find where this is supposed to sit. And it is not completely cooperating with me. Okay, that seems alright. The big thing is that I'm just afraid of moving on to the crown and some of the other details in her hair before I kind of know where things are sitting, because it's like, if I put those in the wrong place, I'm going to be sad. And if I don't understand the structure of the whole thing, the odds of me putting things in the wrong place are quite high. I think I'm actually going to draw this hair clip a little bit later. I want to get the crown on. Okay. I'm gonna clear this, actually. Let's go ahead and get that crown on. Because I think I at least have the center of her head right. Even if I don't have the feel of the antenna hair quite right. I think it's mostly right. It doesn't really feel wrong anymore, so that should be fine. Okay, what do you actually look like? So we got a stick and then a diamond. Okay. So the diamond sits at that little gap there. So, like, right here. So, bottom part of the diamond is going to be here. The top part of the diamond is going to be up here. And then there's a stick. Okay. And I do think we see that much. But then the back part of this is going to be, like, behind her. So we don't see the whole thing. I think we probably see, like, maybe... It's a bit big. So if I'm defining this as the top of her head here. This is the top of the head and the angle that I'm drawing, which admittedly might be a little strong. Maybe that's why some things don't feel quite right. Is her head tilted that far back? You know, I don't actually think so. I don't think it is. Okay, I'm gonna go bring on some of the other layers here. Where's my head outline? There it is. Okay. So I don't think I actually have her head tilted that far back, which means that we should be seeing a little bit more of the back of her head here. I'll just erase that. That's fine. So I'll go bring in the back of her head a little bit here and kind of define that a little. I actually think this looks pretty okay. Just what I've done here. And then we'll see, you know, this braid on the side here. It's going to be going over here. I think probably a little bit more. There we go. Clean up that corner. I'll draw a little pink out there. There we go. And now I think I can draw the rest of the crown pretty sanely. Yeah, that all seems alright. Okay, so we got the little stick kind of coming out. I'm gonna define where this band goes. So it looks like it actually goes on top of her side hair here, which surprises me. I would have expected it to go behind it. But no, it looks like it is sitting on top. What do I got over here in the reference sheet? Anything on the crown specific? Not really. Yeah, not really. Okay, so I'll just kind of trust what I see here. I think I have another couple of references here. I'm gonna check Google just to make sure. Okay, I see what's happening. No, it is going behind her ears. It just, you know, spiky. And one of the spikes still sticks up front there. Okay, okay. I think I understand now. I always like thinking about how accessories and stuff sits on... How it sits on things, too. So there, yeah, that's not a strap. That's just a diamond. Okay. I think it's one of those things that will... If you really, really think about where things are sitting on the head, how they wrap around the head, and how they're all put together, I do think that is something that will make drawing them not just easier, but it'll make the overall drawing look better. So I always like to take my time and really figure out how are they sitting on things. Okay, so we got something there that's going to be like the band that everything sticks into. I'm not quite satisfied with this curve, so let's go poke at that a little. I think it'll be easier to sculpt than to just draw it, so I will use Liquify to help me. Liquify is very useful. Get this sitting in there just a little bit better here. I kind of want it to go back a little, but maybe not too strongly. I think I kind of have a habit of over-exaggerating head tilt when it comes to certain parts, and I don't necessarily match it up with the face correctly. So I think that's part of what was giving me such a hard time there. Okay, that seems nice. How do you sit here? Okay, so I think this part is sitting back there, and then there's just a few spots through here that kind of stick out onto the hair. So that means you're going to come out a little bit more, and So I have to think about this for a second, because the way that I'm looking at this is I look at the head. We're kind of... If I were to draw a cube, we're seeing it from this side, because we're just kind of hanging out on this side of her, and we see like a little sliver of the chin through here. So it kind of like this, where this is the side, this is the bottom, and this will, you know, go into a chin and stuff. But her head is actually like turning this direction and bringing this side up and closer to us. So just because our viewpoint is on this side, her head is actually turning the other way. So I have to think about where the hair and stuff will overlap the crown. Because taking this at face value means that I'd put the crown like right through here, and that feels very wrong. Let me find where her ears are again. Okay, so I'm going to put the head color back on so I can see her ears. So I know that this crown will tuck behind her ears and that there will be a little diamond kind of sticking out, like, right here. So yeah, I do think we see the side of it. Which means I need this to be sticking out a bit more. A little bit flatter through there. Okay. It's alright. Sometimes I just need to sit down and think about the structure a little. And I'll worry about the spots where I think the hair will be overlapping, like on the little antenna here. I think this is going to be more like this in the end. But I think that'll distract me from getting this drawn correctly for now. So I'm just going to focus on getting the shape of this band right. And at some point I'll hide her back hair again. That's fine. It'll come back later. Okay, which means I need this to be just a little bit wider. There we go. Round it out a little bit more. Okay, now where are the other little diamonds that kind of stick out onto her hair? So we got one there, one kind of on either side of the big crown thing, and then another one kind of in between that. So I think I can draw the big crown thing now. What does it look like? You know, rather than using that one, let me use the slightly higher quality one that I found. Oh, I lost it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the stick holding it on kind of sits flat against her head here, and then... So if I'm picturing it from the side, we have crown bit sticking up, like this. We got the line that it's sitting on, kind of flattening like that. And then the diamond that sits on her forehead, kind of, you know, sitting on the forehead flatly. So it's like this. So this is a flat up against her head. And then we'll have a pointy bit kind of sticking up. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty okay. I am not going to worry about smoothing this out just yet. It's all good. I just want to get this structure down so I can kind of understand what's going on here. Always structure before details. Always. And I gotta get the angle of this right. Right now, it is definitely not right. I gotta get the angles. There we go. Ooh, that still does not feel quite right. I think the part sitting on her head is doing pretty okay. Let me just kind of... I feel like there should be a slight difference here. Oh, the joy of rigid objects. You can't just kind of fake it with them. You gotta really dig into how they actually work. I have a better, more head-on angle here. I thought I did last time, but now I can't find it, and I am sad. Oh well. Okay. Well, that's with their head tilted forward a little bit. Okay, but no, I think I got it. Okay. So this sits flat on the head, and that part comes straight up. It connects with the band. Yeah. So I start the diamond down here. And I think it is thinner than that at the bottom. Yes, much. And I also need to slide this over. I have it off center. There we go. Let's see, thinner at the bottom. We're seeing it a little from the side, so if I were to just put in some shadows to kind of help me see 3 dimensions, it'd be like this. So we're seeing it just a little from the side here. I might actually end up keeping that shadow, but even if I don't, this is helpful. I can see it a little bit better. And then the red diamond will kind of go in the middle. I'll make it black for now because I don't want to draw it yet. Hey, how we doing? Okay, if I'm gonna do that, I have to do it for everything, otherwise it'll throw me off. So I'll do it for these other 2 things too. The stick and the other diamond. Let this sit flat on her head. Liquefy the corner so it's in the right spot. Little thick. This part needs to come up a little, and you need to be a little wider on this side, I think. Still not quite right. It's like twisted. Best way I can describe it. It still feels a little twisted here. What is making you feel a little twisted as opposed to just casually being seen from the side? I have a thought. Okay. Maybe it's this part. Drawn very roughly, but is that any better? Not really, actually, is it? Alas, my thought was not correct. Okay. I will try something else then. What is making you feel twisted? What is making you feel twisted? I am gonna have to think about that for a second. See, I do think I want to skew it this way. Now I think it's too thick. But yeah, I'm not sure how obvious it is, kind of what I'm thinking here. But I do feel like we see a little bit of the side there. I probably just have it tilted a little too far. Which is why I was trying something else. But maybe what I actually want is to be more consistent all the way around. So I'm paying attention to the width of the bit here, about how much space is there. It is mostly gem. So I will keep it thin all the way around. About the same width. This part got wrong, but that's okay. I'll fix it. Okay, a little bit less twisted. So that was part of it, but not all of it. How unfortunate. Wonder if I should just draw it again. Okay, let's try again. Okay. I'll be a little bit more particular about getting it to rise out of her head here. This line doesn't feel twisted, right? This feels correct. So we have it flat up against her forehead here, and then it's going to come right out of her head. Let's see. No, that still feels not straight. Yeah, they both do have pink hair, but that's about the... Yeah, pink hair and a tiara. So I can see it. That's about the only thing they have in common, though. But yes, this is Malice Evermore, one of the new VTubers in Phase Connect's new generation. Are you centered now? Okay, and I think this part, which also means that the split in her hair might be in slightly the wrong spot too, needs to come over a little. I'm just looking at the space between the eyes here, and I think the center is a little bit more like right there. Yeah, I think her design is great. I like it a lot. There's a reason I wanted to draw her. So many VTubers just have fantastic little designs here, so they are fun to draw. I have a good time drawing all of them. It just sometimes they're also a little complicated and have all these little wacky accessories, so it can take me a hot minute to actually get them looking right. Let's see. Yes. Close. I think I just need to push this down a little. I think it's fine for a little bit of her top hair there to be covering it up. I want to have that impression, so I'm gonna erase just a little. Still keeping things real rough. Okay, yeah, I can see it a little better now. Maybe I zoomed in a little too quickly. Seems plausible. Always. In this case, it's not really a detail that I'm getting into, it's just I mean, it's true that I do care about the details a lot, but here it's just, I really need to care about the structure of rigid objects. You know, with objects that aren't super rigid, like hair, you can kind of fake it and it's fine. But, like, this is metal. It's not going to bend so easily. So when the perspective is off, it just feels really, really wrong. And here, I just want to make sure that this looks like it's sitting on her forehead, and this looks like it's sticking straight up away from her head. Just absolutely perpendicular. And, man, it just does not want to. Yeah, that probably tells me I have a perspective problem with the back of her head. So, I might poke at that a little as well. Okay, let's do that. I do think it feels mostly correct, though, so it's probably minor, but it's enough that it's throwing me off on figuring out where this thing sticks up. Okay, I'm gonna erase and just try to draw it again. because it just needs to stick up, like, perfectly perpendicular to her head. Whereas this kinda comes out and over a little bit. I'll exaggerate the shape just to help me understand a little bit, and then I can take it back a little later. But this is sitting on her forehead, this is coming out straight. Okay, so I have it slightly off center, but I think it's coming out straight there. Yeah, I think so. Okay, and now I should theoretically be able to draw these little diamonds. Once again, diamond does... Okay, it doesn't quite come out of the band, but it's pretty close. Got a little bit of a straight part, about the same width as this. And then diamond. And let me see, are they the same at the top and the bottom? Yes. I'd say they're about the same length at top and bottom, so that would put the center of it... Let's see, this is going to be the bottom right here. Then the center is going to be right here. No, right here. Get the tilt right. Yeah, lots of small bits here. And it's like, I'm not really even getting into details here. I am just trying to figure out the structure of this crown. It's like I was mostly ignoring it before. I just said, okay, we got some bits here, it's in the middle, and then it does things like that. But now I do have to get the shapes. I can't really hold off on that anymore. I gotta get those basic shapes in. It's very important. Okay, and I think this is mostly right, I just have it a little skewed. Little thick, too. Maybe not that skewed. Okay, so maybe somewhere around here. Let me turn it. How are we doing? No. Not quite. But it's like, if I don't get this one right, then every other spike on the crown is gonna be wrong. Every single one. So that's why it's very much worth the extra time to get this one specifically, where it needs to go. Not too interested in the kind of content they do. But I am aware. Okay. It still feels like it's twisted too much. Let's just make this a little thinner than this shadow. Make it just a little bit thinner. Bring it a little bit more towards us instead of pointing away. Still feels like it's pointed away just so strongly, and I'm not sure why. It doesn't seem like it should. Okay, let's pull back the 3D-ness here then. Okay. Straighten it out just a little. Are we good? Are we good? Actually, yes. Okay, I think that might be right. Okay, so I'm gonna have to be real careful with my lines on this. I am scared. I was expecting to have to draw the crown first, but I think I'm actually gonna do the front hair here first. But I kind of want to get the structure of the crown done. I think I might have the diamond a little bit too thick. Like it's a long diamond, not a square one. So I do think I still need to squish it a little, but I, at the very least, feel like the basic shape is all right. Huzzah. Oh yeah, Nitya's great. I'll be drawing her too. I plan to draw all 5 of them. If Anya debuts, by the time I'm done, I'll draw her too. But I probably won't until she actually debuts. So we'll see what the heck is happening there. Yeah. It was pretty fun to watch. I watched them while I was preparing for a small medical procedure and was unable to sleep that night, so their timing was perfect. Their timing, absolutely perfect for me. I was happy. Because I had something fun to do while I was up at 3 a.m. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think I have that centered on her head now. It looks like it is sitting on her head, and I am satisfied. So, I can actually start kind of doing the other spikes now. Yay! Okay, so let's see, this next pair. Long stick. Let me turn this back. How exactly are all those sitting in her head there? Let me see, I have this one where she's leaning slightly forward. So there's like... Let's see, where are you? I need to zoom in on this a little. Okay, so I got the hairband, and then there's like this weird net of metal kind of coming out. Okay, I don't really want to get all the details on the diamond in the middle, but I guess I kind of need a few before I can draw how the rest of this is going to come out. So, here we go. Diamond in the middle. Feeds up into diamond on the top. Okay, like I said, details are coming later. This isn't even details. This is just perfect angles, but nonetheless, I appreciate the look. But it's okay, I got this. Sometimes it just takes me a couple of tries. Man. Let's see, long here. Up here. Out here. Up there. And then we get a swirly bit. Got a swirly bit. Where's my cursor? There we go. Go in swirly. Let me see. Do we see the edge? No. So it just swirls up into the side here like this. I will. I definitely will. Look. With rigid material like this, it's just important to get those initial things right. And this is already looking wrong, so I'm going to have to poke at it a little. So we got swirly bits here. This is too small, but that's fine. Okay. This is getting a little bit more into details than I want for now, so I'm just gonna leave it real simple. But I have to know where these swirly bits are, because about halfway between them there's a bit that comes out here. So I kinda gotta know where they sit. That's too much. No, you were fine. Okay. And that should be fine. I just need to push it back a little. And with the way that it is at this angle, I don't actually think we see the entire place where it comes out. So I think something like this will be fine for now. Like, it's not swirling correctly, but that's okay. Let's make it swirl just a little bit more, I guess. Okay. And then you have your thing coming out just like here. Okay. So that should be that kind of structure, and then I'm not concerned about the entirety of, like, the metal net thing coming out. So I know that this... Where roughly... Okay, let me roughly block in. I'm going to do it on a different layer just because I think I'm going to be killing it. But let's see. So we have one diamond probably about here. I'm just going to draw the centers for now. Then the next about here. Too long. Okay. And then the last... Right about... Let me see, do I have those too far apart? I do. Okay. These two are too far apart. They need to be closer to the middle. Let me draw this one first. There we go. So you will be about here on this side. And then we got like a little baby one. Right about here. So this does tell me that I have this spike a little bit too far out. The spike from the antenna here, I mean. Okay, so I got a little baby one right there. And then that means that you connect up like this. And you connect up like this. Which does look right to my eyes, so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and liquefy where this hair should be. Just based on where the crown goes, and it needs to be like a little bit further this way. And this one needs to be like way the heck over here. Or maybe I just have those too close together. It's probably a little bit of both. It's probably a little bit both, yeah. Okay. But that's okay. That's why I put it on a separate layer. So that this way I could fix it. So that means this all needs to come a little further out. Yeah, her head isn't tilted that extremely, of course. Just a little further out here, and from there... something like that, and I can kind of erase the parts that aren't quite right. That's okay, I don't mind. Like I said, I am honored to be background music. Unironically. I think my setup is excellent to just be background noise while you are doing stuff. So even if you're not active in chat, it's like at the end of the stream, I do see like my concurrent viewer numbers and stuff like that. So don't worry, I still notice that you're here. Always do. And I appreciate your presence whether you chat or not. I want this to be coming a little more straight out. I need to, like, change the angles pretty sharply in order to get that right. Sharp, 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 sharp. Okay. There we go. Okay, so I think that's solid for the weird kind of metal net thing for now. This needs to come a little further over, but the idea is fine. Let's let them meet together. Oh yeah, go for it. You can use my art for whatever you like. Except for profit, I guess. If you want to be making money off of stuff, maybe talk to me first. How many watch hours do I have? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm not actually sure how much YouTube counts watch hours from live as opposed to VOD watching, so I don't know, but a fair amount, and the numbers do keep going up, so it tells me I'm probably doing something right. It can be hard to tell sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes that can lead to a bit of the melancholy, but no, I think all is well. Just cannot fall prey to the melancholy. It is insidious. Okay, there we go. That's pretty okay. Let's see here. A little bit lower down. There we go. Gradually getting the structure on this. Let's start turning these into proper diamonds. Okay, what do they look like? Oh god, I have to hollow them out. I'm terrified. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna hollow them out later. So for now, I'm just gonna get the diamond shapes. Alright. Well, thank you very much. Don't worry, I'd also be honored to be phone backgrounds. So these are a little bit longer on the bottom part. Not that much longer, though. And they kind of connect directly into the net there. I don't want to get the rest of the details on the net. That looks like suffering. It's like there's a little bit coming... You need to be longer, huh? Yeah. Yeah, there's like something coming off of here, and man, it is just so complicated. I'm gonna do that a little bit later. I don't think it's completely necessary for the point of structure that I am at. I guess I'll merge these now. Okay. And then you, like, here, I guess? That seems about right. down to about here. It's fine if it's a little gummy for the moment. I'll straighten everything out a little bit later. Because I get the feeling I'm going to be liquefying this for days. There we go. Okay. Then the next one, it is only gem, and it kind of sits on the same point of the net here. I'll probably have this a little bit long then. Because it's going to attach to that. Okay. I need to fix the angle on this. It's not quite right. Doing all kinds of wild things, man. That's okay. That's why I'm paying very close attention to the structure of all this. Now I'm curious, which picture are you using as your background, Tabak? Let's see. Yeah, it sticks off just a little. Only a little, though. So I think that's about right. And then you come down. I mean, it can be hard to tell sometimes. I mean, basically all it should tell you is that video is not necessarily sufficient proof of things, and you should look up common scam tactics. Like, the big one is, are they trying to rush you into making a purchase decision? Like, do you have to do it right now? And if they're not leaving you any time to think, 90% of the time, they're probably trying to scam you. That's probably the big one. Second, are they trying to funnel you onto a website or make you download something? I see. Okay. There are many an option, and feel free to crop them however you want. Oh no. Okay. Yes? Does that look like the crown? Is it too small? No, I don't think it's too small. I think this is correctly sized. Because it is a pretty small little tiara. Is anything off-center? See, this is exactly why I wanted to get this one just right, because it's going to be a lot easier to get the rest of the pieces once I know the center is correct. So, there you go. That's why I was super particular about it. I'm less particular about the rest of them. Because I knew if I got that one wrong, there was a 0% chance I was going to get any of the other ones right. But there we go. Now I can kind of move them around based on what I did here, knowing that the center is in a good spot. And I can just kind of adjust the basic locations accordingly. Okay. But yeah, that looks pretty okay. And I think that's mostly sufficient for now. The last thing I want to do here, just, you know, while I'm finishing up the structure of this thing, is get these last little pointy diamond bits here, these guys. So we got 3 running down here. I've got this one drawn. So this guy's got to be sitting just right at the edge of the last little spike there, so about here. Gonna have a little diamond bit coming off. I'll do the other side. I think we see just a little bit of it right there. And it'll still sit on top of her hair. So let's get that sized well. The hairband will go into it. And it'll be something like that. Then I got the one there, and there's like one more about halfway between, which is going to be like right here. Yeah, what I'm doing here is actually kind of based on that. It's just, you know, I'm adding a couple more colors. But yeah, I really like doing stuff where I use black and white and maybe one more color. I do that quite a lot, and, you know, last month was Inktober, so that was pretty much all I did for Inktober. Lots and lots of just simple black and white stuff. But you can bet you'll see a lot more of it in the future, because I like it lots too. Okay, so this one will be coming down here a little bit. We think we do see a little bit more of the side there. Okay. And then here by the ear. Where is the ear? I didn't draw it, so right about there, I think. We'll see only the side on the hair. Kind of like that. Okay. All right. Sounds good to me. And there we go. I think I got the tiara on her head. I still want to make sure it's not too small. Because it might be. I think it's a little too small. Okay. Mostly, I mostly see it in this front gem. So I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger here. Okay, and I think that's fine. I do see like a couple of small perspective issues, but for the state that I currently have it in, this is fine. And I do think that I do want to finish her hair before I do that. I initially thought that I was going to do the crown first, but then I realized that, hey, you know, a lot of this is actually going to be covered up by her hair here. So I'm kind of in a catch-22 statement. So I'm just going to do the hair first. So I'll turn that off for now, give myself a little break, and I'll come look at it again a little bit later. I'm going to hide some layers so I can draw her hair nicely. Actually, hold on. One more thing to check before I start doing that. Does the structure of her hair match up with what I want to do? Because that was a thing, but no, I do think it is right now. So I think I can just go fully render that. Okay, cool. Is the antenna correct here? Because this goes just like slightly on the outer edge of that. So right here. And this does stick out like right there. Yes, it is in the right spot. All is well. Rendering time. Let's go. Okay. So now it's just time to smooth everything out, which means I need to hide a bunch of layers so that this way I don't get lost and confused. Very easy to get lost and confused. Okay. So now I've done the hard work. Unfortunately, I'm becoming increasingly convinced I won't be able to finish the face because that took a while. I'm a little bit sad. But it's okay, it looks really good. So, I think I have it right. And now I can just smooth this out in peace. Oh, trust me, nothing here is finished yet. The only thing that I consider really finished is this hand. And I mean, the quality difference between the hand here and like the rest of her body, very obvious to me. I'm always amazed that people can look at it and think it's finished. Okay, so time to get everything nice and smooth. Trust me, you'll see the difference once it's actually smooth. Once you see it before and after, it's like, yes, the work is necessary. So necessary. And I want everything to be super angular, and I just made this curved. I did it again. I have to fight like every single one of my instincts to make this as sharp and angular as I want it to be. Actually, unironically, I do think that if your picture looks bad, like, you don't see the potential in it by the time you're kind of done with the sketch, that you should probably just start over. Because, yes, I agree. I do think it looks pretty good right now. And there are times when I just draw a thing and it looks bad, and no matter how many times I try to rework something, it just doesn't work. And so I do think that by the end of the sketch stage, that you gotta see a spark of something there. And if it's not quite working, then that's a sign that there's something that's not working. Because rendering something that looks bad at the beginning, well, it'll look bad at the end too. It's kind of hard to describe. Especially for beginners or people that don't have a lot of confidence in their work. Because what's really important in a lot of drawing, especially early on, is just the general structure and composition. Yeah, exactly. You kind of see where it's going. So a lot of what's important in just drawing stuff in general is basically structure and composition. And those you can actually get down real fast once you start to get good. And yeah, so once you have the basic idea of the structure and composition down, if it doesn't look good, it means something about your structure or composition is wrong. So, and no amount of rendering a bad structure or composition is going to make it look good. So that's just something to look out for. I guess I can send this down a little. I'll just put a shadow here to separate it from the hand. Just don't think I want this line to be quite that thick. I want to save the really thick lines for things that are supposed to be like in shadow. Or like here where we see the side of it. But yeah, for this one, I knew on the first day. Like, the first day I drew it on stream, so within like 3 hours, even less than that really, that I was onto something. And that it was worth finishing, so. But the magic has to be there. Let's see, before I get into a lot of this stuff on the inside, I think I want to finish off the outside. I'm gonna leave the hand on. Just so I don't over-render things. I am prone to doing that, and I know that hand not moving ever at this point. So I can just safely render everything underneath it. And I don't actually want this hair to be covering any part of her mouth. So I'm gonna trim it back just a touch. Oh, well, that's a secret. But don't worry, I mean, I'm out in outer space, so I'm not limited by the bounds of the sun hitting your planet. So don't worry about it. The sun is always out here. There we go. I think that's pretty good. Let's see, how thick do I want that to be? I probably want it to be as thick down here as it is up here, so I should get this middle part first. For that, I actually do have to hide the hand. I'll put it back ASAP, but I need to make sure I know where this line is going. It needs to be super straight. I'll even draw through. Why? Then you'd sleep longer, and that's terrible. Sleeping is the worst. The fact that people have to do it at all and waste a third of their life just being unconscious is terrible, I tell you. If it was up to me, I'd never sleep at all. It is, but it's still unfortunate. It's still sad and depressing. Because it's the worst. It's the worst that we have to do it. Okay. There we go. I think that's looking good now. So now I can just kind of work on straightening the line and getting it extra smooth. Just getting this into the exact state that I want it in. Okay, I need to hide the headlines here. There they are. Just to make sure that the hairlines are all good. And I'll still keep the ones on this side fairly thick. But the parts that separate the strands, they're going to be a lot thinner. Well, I mean, there's your problem. So it's like, you agree with me. Sleeping is the worst. That's why you don't do it. Even though you probably should sleep a little bit more than that. Okay, time to figure out how thick I want this outer line to be. I don't think I want it to be that thick. And the body is also kind of in the way here, so let's hide that. And then I can kind of figure out the drills. Let's see, this I was kind of connecting into the drills here. This is like the back side of it. So I think that makes sense. I'll keep that kind of like that. There we go. Yeah, insomnia is pretty terrible. For as much as I do hate sleep, I understand its necessity, so insomnia is kind of the worst. But it's like I said, if we didn't have the unfortunate condition of needing to sleep, insomnia wouldn't matter at all, because you just wouldn't need to sleep, and then you could go out and do many more exciting things. And life would just, yeah, you'd have so much more time. It'd be fantastic. And that is why I lament it. And it makes me sad. I apparently have a lot of fans from Southeast Asia, according to my YouTube analytics. So, there you go. I've actually thought about starting stream like an hour earlier or something because of it, but... European? Okay. Yeah, I know the people in Southeast Asia, it's even later, and I'm just like, why are you guys still awake? I'm always so surprised. Okay. I see. Well, I mean, your ancestral heritage doesn't necessarily describe where you live. In this case, I was noting that I had a lot of fans from Southeast Asia, because, you know, that they currently live in various places in Southeast Asia, so... And I'm just always surprised, because I swear, I stream at like 2 AM for them, or possibly later, and I'm like, dang. I don't know, who knows, maybe they just want to have some, a nice relaxing art talk to help them sleep, I'm not sure. Oh well, case in point. Or maybe I'm just misunderstanding what time it is there. United States. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, according to YouTube, it says United States by a pretty large margin, actually. But indeed, I've just noticed a lot of people from Southeast Asia chatting, so... And according to the numbers and my demographics. And I'm actually unusual for VTubers, in that my audience has like a near 50-50 split male-female. I am not... my audience is not predominantly male, and I'm like the only one I know where it's like that. So that makes me happy too. I only get a little bit of demographic information because my channel is still pretty small. So there's only so much I can glean from that, and I mostly look out of curiosity. I just think it's funny. Maybe funny is the wrong word, but I think it's interesting. It's fun to look at, just what things people are interested in. What attracts people to certain things. Someday I will get this line straight. I believe in myself. But it's taken all my self-control to not try to make it a cute little curl in the hair. Because that's what I'd normally do. But for this style specifically, I want it to be very, very angular. Yeah, I mean, it depends on when people do stuff. I know that a lot of people tend to... I don't know, do they more typically stream in the evening? I'm under the impression. And this time just happened to work out for me, so... I'm rolling with it. It's, you know, always 12 o'clock somewhere, so I didn't think too hard about it. Okay, and then here... we just roll it in like this. And once again, I made it curved because of course I did. That's okay. I'll fix it. No curves allowed. Not here. There might be certain places where I put in curves, but it is not here. Straights only. Okay. Yeah, I think that's about right. And then I'll extend the line here just a little to show that it continues and that this is just a big old shadow. There we go. Okay, so that I think is good for that outer edge. So I'll make the line up here a little thinner. I'm pretty happy with the width of this line. So I can continue it all the way to up through here. Just all the way through here. Okay, yeah, now that all the lines are starting to become a more consistent width, I feel like it's coming together, so definitely glad that I did the outside instead of getting fixated on the braid. Because once I know the width of the lines for everything on the kind of outer parts here, it'll be easier to determine how the inside should be. Because I think the outside, with a few exceptions, like this being one of them, is gonna have the thickest lines. My weekend's been pretty good. I don't typically get to relax on the weekends, though, because that's when we go visit the grandparents. So, so I'm generally out running around with my kids. They're pretty great. I guess the good thing about weekends, though, is that's often when I get to do some stuff with my husband, and that's always a good time, too. Right now we're playing Dyson Sphere Program. We have been exploring factory games lately. And I'm glad. I like to keep things simple and just draw the things. Even when sometimes I drive myself a little crazy, just going in and being like, you know, this doesn't look right. What do I do? But it's okay, because I always figure it out in the end. Always do. Yep. It's okay. I think that there will always be a little bit of madness in art. Always. And if you're not driving yourself at least a little crazy, you're probably not trying very hard. Just trying to get that line to the perfectly consistent width that I want it to be. And I think I can kind of trust what I got here, as I liquefied this to hell and back, so I think it's looking pretty alright. I just gotta make sure I fight my instincts and keep it straight. Gotta keep it straight. Gotta be angular. It is extra dramatic. I'll keep that little part there where I feel like the hair overlaps a little bit. Okay, now I kind of want the lines to start getting a little thicker again. Just because over here I kind of wanted it to fade into the back, so I thought thinner lines made sense. We'll see if I'm correct. I might need to make them thicker. I'm not actually sure. But I picked a direction and tried it. So now I kind of want the lines to be thicker again. It is. I mean, that's why I do a bunch of science. And that's one thing I really like about digital, is that, you know, I can try whatever I want as many times as I want. And try as many variations as I need to find the one that works the best for me. Or that works the best for the picture. And I like being able to do that. I like being able to embrace just the raw chaos of my process here. And I don't think I could do that with a lot of analog art. Can you imagine not being able to erase or just plop something on a different layer and switch between A and B? Like, terrible, man, I tell ya. Terrible. Well, good night, Blood Bullet. Thanks for stopping by. Good luck with your presentation, and don't kill yourself. That would be sad. I mean, you say that, but sleep is important. I hate it, but I acknowledge its importance. Okay, gotta hide my flower shape too. Nothing will interfere with me getting the perfect shapes for everything here. Same. Sleeping is boring. I hate it. Let's see. Yeah, I think this thickness is gonna be good. I'll check it at the end. I do want to make sure that I have the line thickness good on these outer parts here, because it will determine everything that I do on the inside. So I will be trying to get those, and I think I will finish everything along the outside except the drills. I want to make sure that the lines are the way I want them to be before I go and do the drills. That's why I stopped at the drills last time. Okay, well, I'm probably not going to be able to finish the face today, but I should at least be able to finish the hair. I think I'm at least on track for that. We'll see if I can get the crown in there too, because the crown is going to be a thing. But I think I've only gotten maybe halfway through its thingness. The structure is definitely the key point there, but there are a lot of things I gotta think about there. Mostly, what the heck am I gonna do with the lines on that? Because if I put them in the wrong spot, it's just gonna be terrible, I tell ya. Okay, I'm gonna hold off on that little strand as well. So let's see, how are we doing so far? I'm gonna turn my layers back on just so I can kind of test how everything is going. Are these good widths? Okay, yeah, this is gonna get absorbed into shadow, so I don't really have to worry about it now that I think about it. I do kind of want to get it relatively good, just so I know what to worry about down here, but yeah, that's going to be mostly dark, so I probably don't have to worry about it as much as I currently am. I also hate how this is going up against her shoulder at the moment. You know, that's actually no good at all. But I think I'll fix the shoulder rather than the hair. I think the hair is fine. The shoulder less so. So I can just move the shoulder up a little bit. Oh wait, I know what's happening. That has nothing to do with the shoulder. That's the back hair. That's you, because that hair is on top of the shoulder. Ooh. Okay, that changes things. What is that hair doing? Oh, that's not there. Okay. Well, that makes my life easy. Boop. Problem solved. Mostly hair. Today I wanted to try to finish the face, so I just kind of adjusted some stuff with her hand, which I probably should actually have turned on right now. So I made some minor adjustments there. Fixed structure of hair, and then did the crown. So it's basically just hair today. I was hoping to finish the rest of her face, but I think the hair is probably going to take the rest of the time there, especially since I have things I want to try with it. I'm not sure how strandy I want to make things or how much I just want to keep things blocky like this. There are choices to be made. There are many choices to be made still. So, that's alright. Anyway, I am satisfied with my lines here, so all is well. Oh, I need to hide the shape too. There we go. And then I just realized that this strand that I was thinking about how to do was an illusion, and I had to get rid of it. It had to die. Such is life. Well, for me, that wasn't really about detail. That was just structure. And sometimes I do struggle with certain structural things. The details will come later. Like, I haven't even drawn, like, all the gems or anything there. And I have, like, only the basic part of that, the kind of overlapping metal pieces and stuff. So. Okay, let's see here. But yeah, I think I'm happy with that, so I think I can kind of do some of these inner parts here. So this line I want to keep thicker because it's shadow, and this because we see the side, so this will actually be quite thin up here, and this will be thick. Oh no, I should have it finished within a couple of streams. I'm always way more particular about things around the face. You don't mess around with the face. The face must always look good. Because if it doesn't, your picture won't look good. Just period. If the face looks bad, everything looks bad. If you're drawing a person. So. Probably not. If I had to estimate, how long do I think this will take me? I mean, if I'm being honest, I was hoping that I'd be able to finish it in like 4 streams, but then, yeah, stuff happened. And I am faster than I used to be, but I still draw pretty slow overall. So if I had to estimate, I'm pretty bad at estimating time. Time matters less when you're space-time itself, so... Yeah, the one with Crony is almost done. I actually expect to finish that next stream. This one, I think I probably still have a good 2 or 3. And if you're counting... I plan to do this with all of Saga, and that I probably won't finish this year. So I'll probably still be doing the rest of them into next year. But I already know the poses for each of them, so... I am ready for whatever my hand is. Well, to be fair, the one with Crony is almost done, so like all that's left is the details. And that one is also stained glass, which requires a little bit more attention to the details, I think. Whereas this one is minimalism. So... there's less to do. Less to worry about. How do I want to do this? Needs to, like, come out here. There we go. So the line is gonna start getting thicker. There. Okay, now that should line up with what I've got here. And I just need to figure out where all the straights go and where it changes direction. Because everything must be straight. I must fight my urge to make it curved. Very important. I mean, it is minimalism. It's just minimalism where I'm trying something that I haven't done with it before. And thus it takes longer. Because, I mean, if you look at a lot of the black and white ones that I was doing, you know, the other more minimalist stuff, most of the stuff that I drew for Inktober this year was drawn in about 30 minutes. So if you look at all my Inktober videos from this year, in all that, yeah, those were 30 minutes. No more than 90, because that's how much time I have to draw in the morning. Before I kind of have to start preparing for stream and whatnot. So as long as I'm doing something familiar, and especially if I am not drawing a face, it goes a lot faster. But because this is new territory, and to be fair, that crown was just hard. So... I can kind of forgive myself for that. I do still kind of struggle with rigid materials. And I'll fix that part of the braid later. This will be easier to handle this part. And I think it is a bit more important to get that part right there. Alright, I want these lines to join up, but I don't want this to be quite so thick as it goes further out. Alright, well, sounds good to me. I do try to be a little bit more high effort on stream. Because I like drawing things. And I like making them look really nice. And it's especially true for me when I'm drawing VTuber fan art, because I almost kind of feel like I'm drawing a person. Like, I know that they're still playing a character, but it's a little bit different from just drawing fan art of, like, a video game or something. It is for me, at least. I do feel like it's a little bit more close to drawing a person, so I do try to be very, very high effort there and just make things look really, really good. And so I try to put forth my best effort for all of my stream drawings. And I always try to draw something that I think the talent playing the character would like. Or that they at least think suits them. Okay, there we go, and I think that transitions from thick to thin perfectly. Okay. Then here, this will be... Yeah, this will be thick because this is actually part of, like, the drills. So, let's see, how do I want to handle that? Nope, no curves. No curves. No curves allowed. Straights only. Okay. Had to stop myself. And I will say it every time because it is true. I must keep things very, very straight. There we go. I like showing the process. It's a good time. Art is fun. I'm still trying to think of ways to make it more fun, because it's like... There's only so much I can do when a lot of it is just, you know, I gotta go through and render things very thoroughly. And I fully acknowledge that I am a perfectionist. Very much so. So I do get particular about the details. But, and that does make it hard for me to go faster. But... Okay, I think there's things I can do. I have many a plan for next year. Okay. So I think that's most of the outside of the hair there. How do I feel about it? Yeah, I think I'm off to a good start there. Okay, let's go do the drills. And the strand, I guess. I guess the strand is important too. This one I want to keep the line pretty thin. Definitely as thin as here. And I'm not sure if this line will actually end up being that thin. It's just kind of hard because I do like to render things in such a way that I know I can do with whatever I want underneath without worry. So like when it comes time to do the face, I'll be able to do whatever I want through there and it'll be fine. But I do know that some of this is going to end up in shadow, so I probably don't actually have to make the line that smooth, so I don't know, man. Art is hard. And, well, I'm glad to hear that. I do try to make things nice. You know, it's always kind of hard to know. Just, I think it just comes with being a small channel. So, you know, I always do appreciate hearing these things. Because I know that when it... Just as a person, my voice is a little bit more on the monotone side. And I don't do big emotional inflections or other stuff that's common in a lot of people. And I've just been kind of rolling with it because I don't think I can fake that very well. So I was just like, you know what, let's just be monotone. I think it'll be fine. So, it's always nice to confirm that I am correct, and that all is well. I just want to change the shape of this hair. I was not happy with it. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Like I said, I am glad to hear it. Different people are good at different things, and sometimes it can be surprisingly hard to embrace. What you are actually good at versus, you know, what just seems to be working for other people. That's why I just kept doing art stuff, because I liked that more than, you know, pretty much anything else I could be doing for the internet. So it is nice. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I like this better. It feels... I mean, it's still very straight. But... Because, you know, everything must be straight here. But it has a little bit more of that cute little curve of bounciness that I would like if I was actually going to make this a cute little curve. But no, it's going to be the kind of cute little curl that can stab you. So it's a little different. There we go. Now that's nice and straight, and I can start pulling this on up. Okay, straighten out the back there. Okay, now I can actually figure out what the heck I was trying to do with this drill. I think it's actually drawn pretty well and pretty clear, so I don't think it'll be that hard. I just remember when I was trying to figure out how drill hair worked, I had a little bit of difficulty. I think last time I was just a little bit more tired than usual, so everything felt really hard. These things happen. Okay. So I'll just keep sliding on down and get everything nice and smooth. And we'll see how much time I have for hair-based science. Because there's actually not that much more in just kind of the basics here that I have to do. Let's see, which side do I want to be more in shadow? Probably this one. But I don't think it makes sense for it to be here. So, let's get this structurally sound. I think I want to do something like this. Let's see. This, I know, is a very descriptive term, but there we go. I want something kind of like that. where this comes through, and then I have a little piece coming down here, and this part does not quite align with it. It just kind of comes out. And then I have a shape like this. So I'm just cutting up the shape a little bit more, basically. So when it comes to details, this is what I consider details. Like, I had the structure right before, I just knew that the thing was coiling around, and that was enough back then. And now I'm just kind of going back through and perfecting it all. Okay. And now I can kind of align this part of the drill with this part that I just drew here, where I cut up the shape a little bit more. You do that a lot when you're drawing things. You just cut things up. I would not say I yet have an Oshi. No one has quite resonated strongly with my heart yet for me to say that. Like, I mean, I guess with the way people use Oshi now, where you can have like more than one and it's fine. I guess I should say that that's how I feel about Kami Oshi. But I am hunting. For the most part, I fully admit that I just like watching people play a small subset of games. And most of that is like Outer Wilds. I really, really like watching people play Outer Wilds. So that is probably like 90% of the stream content I consume myself. And beyond that, most of the stuff I watch, I don't watch a lot of stuff on my own anymore. I mostly am watching stuff very occasionally with my husband. And right now, we are watching a bunch of Factorio-based stuff, but those are all edited videos, and that tends to be more my speed. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm still just kind of looking around, seeing what people are doing, but it's kind of fun to see what people are doing. I've actually gotten more interested in that kind of thing since I started VTubing myself, of just, you know, seeing what people do. Kind of how they approach things. I kind of understand certain aspects of the creation process a little bit more. And I think when it comes down to it, I have a little bit more fun with the people that have high theater kid energy. So that's why I like Rudy Roos and stuff. And a lot of, at least corpo VTubers, tend to be more in the idol culture area. Which is not surprising, considering that HoloLive is the biggest, and that's kind of their big thing. So, that's why I'm kind of looking at a lot of the more, I don't know, the weirder ones. And why I like FaZe. They definitely have a high concentration of theater kid energy, and I think it's fantastic. I'm kind of glad that a lot of the people in their new generation are highly embracing kayfabe, even though, you know, I'm not doing it myself at the moment. Part of me kind of wishes that I did more, because it does sound fun. It's just, when I was getting started with it, I was so highly anxious. I didn't think I could keep up a character, and I was probably correct at the time. Yes. That is my understanding. GG a little bit high in the gremlin energy for me. That requires a certain quality, but she played Outer Wild, so I did actually watch her. Okay, there we go. Got some drills here. Okay, yeah, I think I'll finish off the drills before I go ahead and get into the rest of the hair there. The drills are very important. They are necessary for proper Ojo summoness. So here we go. Okay. I just wanted to make those lines a little bit thinner, and then I'm debating on how I kind of want to handle this, but you know what? I'm just going to render it as is for now, and I'll do my science at the end. It might lead to a little bit of wasted work, but you know, that's okay. Get that nice and straight, get that nice and straight, and let it curl, but straightly. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch a lot of HoloLife's new gen yet. Have not really gotten around to it. I know they've been out for a while, but it just hasn't happened. Except Gigi, I did watch her Outer Wilds playthrough. Like I said. If more of them play Outer Wilds, odds are I'll watch them more. And maybe just a couple of my other subsets that sometimes I get the urge to watch. I know. I'm way behind. Yeah, I just jumped on Phases immediately because they tend to have a lot of stuff that I generally like. So, and they also had great timing in that I was up all night due to preparing stuff for a medical procedure. So, the timing was perfect. Absolutely perfect. So that's why they got drawn. Okay, and I want a little bit of black line coming through there because this is like wrap it around. Yeah, the implication is that they are recruiting for their next generation. And I do think that is likely. I fully acknowledge that I'm just way behind. It just never ended up happening, and that does happen sometimes. I don't have very much time to be watching things. Basically, just with the way things work out right now, sometimes I watch things like maybe 20 or 30 minutes before stream, just to kind of wind down, relax, so that this way I can get into proper headspace to actually draw on stream. And then I have maybe another 30 to 40 minutes before bed. And my taste is watching entire streams, not clips. So it takes me like a week to go through one stream. And a lot of the times I'm watching VODs and just going through the entire playthrough of a game. I wait for like finished games and stuff. So, yeah. Just can't be done. So I just kind of... I mean, this is exactly why I tell people, you know, don't feel guilty if you have to watch VODs and you can't come live. Don't feel guilty for not chatting. You know, it's all good. Do what's fun for you, because I am certainly doing what's fun for me. Both in terms of performing and watching other people do stuff. So there's just no reason to feel like you have to go out of your way to do stuff that's not fun for you. I think that watching streams should be fun. And if it's stressing you out, something has gone horribly wrong. And it's okay if you can't, you know, come to every single one. Just enjoy yourself. Always just enjoy yourself. There's too many good things out there in the world, and there's no way we can embrace every single other one. Or every single one of them. Just the sad fact of being alive. Go ahead and get this little strand before I go out and do the other drill. Yeah. Oh, I don't mind at all. You know, sometimes there might be days you want to chat, and some days there might be days where you don't. And that's okay. Both are fine. Oh, no, don't worry about it. Trust me, yours probably not any worse than mine. It's all good. As long as I can understand what you're saying, all is well. That's why, I mean, all of this is just supposed to be fun. That's what it is. It's just supposed to be fun. And I feel the same way about, you know, any kind of creative thing. So art should be fun, writing should be fun, all the things should be fun. Sometimes you have to suffer a little bit for your art. That's just, it comes with the territory. But you know what? Suffering can be fun sometimes too. So it's okay. So, in general, I just don't think people should stress out too much about things. Let's just go have fun. And do whatever feels right for the moment. At least when it comes to this kind of thing. You know, for other aspects of your life, maybe think a little harder. But we're talking about watching an anime girl on the internet draw other anime girls on the internet. That's not serious. Okay, there we go. That seems pretty good. I guess I'll go ahead and get this strand here now. Exactly. All is well. Actually, I have the hand on, right? I do. Okay. I wanted to make sure that I was not drawing something that would be covered by the hand. That would just be a waste of time. Okay. Yes, I like this a lot. I'm gonna keep this side thicker, just to keep it a little bit more... like we're seeing the top end of that, which I think is correct. Actually, I think I could do it either way for this part. It probably makes more sense for us to see more of the bottom, but I like it like this, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Accuracy is second to coolness. Always. Maybe not always, but for what I do, yes. I was just thinking about animation where, no, you probably gotta make sure that your art is accurate in order to stop it from looking funny. So maybe then the accuracy is more important than the coolness, but I'm not animating this, so it doesn't matter. I can be as cool as I want. Got a nice juicy shadow underneath this. Because I want to. Do I want it to go straight all the way down? I might. Yes, I do. Okay. And then we break up that straight right there. Perfect. Okay. I'm just thinking in terms of what makes things look really cool. At least what makes them look really cool to me. Oh god, asking me about my favorite things is always a good way to get me to freeze up. I think my absolute favorite... probably, like if we're talking just anime and not... manga, it's probably still Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which very basic, but man, it was really good. So I forgive myself, and I'd probably say a close second is like Mob Psycho 100 or something. I liked that quite a lot too. It's like the perfect epitome of shitposting. The art style is perfect. I don't care what anyone else says. Everything about that art for that show is perfect. But I do tend to be more of a manga reader, and though admittedly... I still haven't what? Or did you mean that, you haven't? They're both definitely worth watching if you haven't watched it. And I'd say that if you wanted to do the Fullmetal Alchemist anime, you'd need to watch a little bit of the OG run. At least in the beginning. Oh, Mob Psycho's fantastic. It very much accomplishes what it sets out to do. But yeah, I do tend to read more manga than anime. Although lately I've been reading more of the, Korean webtoon style stuff. Generally manga. Like, anime's gotten better in recent years, but I remember when I was growing up, it was unquestionably the manga. Like, there was no contest. Just because the anime tend to change so many things for the worse, and I'd never understood why. Like, it was terrible, just how much stuff got changed for absolutely no reason, and for the detriment of the final project. Fullmetal Alchemist is actually a good example of that. That's why I say, even though If you want to watch Full Metal Alchemist, you have to watch some of the OG run. Brotherhood is just way better. It, unsurprisingly, followed the manga way better. No, I do not do smut. Ever. But Webtoon, yeah, fairly often. I'd say the majority of it is not romance. The majority of it is silly reincarnation stories, but I actually avoid those too. But I do like the format quite a lot. If I do actually end up making a comic myself, it'll probably be in that format. It is much easier to read on the internet, which is where I do most of my reading, so I like it. You can do cool things with it, with the way you scroll through it. Okay, and yeah, I think this doesn't need any extra lines. It's just curving into the back there. I think that's correct. So I'll just clean up the edge here, make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. Okay. Alright, I want to get this pink part of the drill drawn before I figure out how this should be. I think I can kind of line this up without changing the shape of that too much. And I think that'll be easier than adjusting for the way the hair was shaped there. Yeah, this works. Would you believe that this is actually a mirror image of the one on the other side? I'm rendering them separately. But when I was initially drawing, like, the sketchy part, indeed, I did just duplicate what I drew there and mirror it over here. I think such shortcuts are fine. But I do tend to like rendering them separately because it does give them a little bit of their own unique identity and stops them from being perfect mirrors. Sometimes I do want things to be perfect mirrors. Like, everything about Crony, very much perfect mirrors. But that was like the point. That was like the point of that. So, for the most part, I do try to have some parts be a little bit different, just so it doesn't get too, I don't know, overly balanced. Things look a little bit unnatural when they're too symmetrical. So unless you're going specifically for something that looks a little bit unnatural, which, you know, fair, I do it all the time, I like to avoid the perfect symmetry too much. But it all does depend on what you're going for. I just kind of want to straighten all that out, and... oh man, and I'm a bad at a time, so I'm not actually going to finish the hair today. How unfortunate. Well, it's okay. What I have here looks really good, so I will forgive. It does look quite excellent. And here I'm doing something a little bit different to make it seem like we're seeing a little bit of like the backside there. the very least, I will have the drills done. And I was worried that the drills would be one of the harder parts, but they actually ended up being quite easy. My past self got the structure of them down pat, and everything looked great. Going for a particular angle here, and I'm not going to stop until I find it. There we go. Perfect. There, exactly what I wanted. Now I just gotta get rid of any curves. Everything must be straight. I have to keep telling myself that, otherwise I'm gonna get absent-minded and forget. And then I'm gonna draw a curve, and I'm gonna be like, no, stop that. Stop. No curves allowed. Alright, there we go. You look like little lightning bolts, and I think that is perfect for what I'm going for here. Okay. So there we go. All that's really left is the braid, but I got like 2 minutes before I gotta go here. So I should probably stop there, and I'll save the braid for next time. A little bit sad I couldn't quite get through everything I wanted to today. But it's okay. We will draw the perfectly malicious face next time. Just want to turn on all my layers and take a look with everything on. And yeah, I gotta say, hair looks fantastic so far. So, very excited to work more on that next time. And let's see, so I'll probably get the hair and the crown next time. I want to finish my... Actually, you know what? I think I'll save the hair science for after I get her big, huge buns on the side of her head there. So we'll get a little bit more back hair done before I go in and experiment with hair. I think that's a good way to put it. And then I'll do a bunch of hair science, and hopefully I can get a lot of her head done next time. It is hair, and hair is time-consuming, especially when I am trying new things. So I shouldn't promise anything. Me trying to estimate time has been going poorly. But regardless, I think I will stop here for today. So, thank you all for coming. And I hope you're able to make something wonderful today. I will see you all tomorrow.